Using the frameworks, you can ask yourself a number of specific questions around your teaching and learning strategy. So if we use the framework, this is how it would look. In terms of the teaching and learning strategy, where are my policies and processes? Have I got them in place, and do they refer to sustainability? In terms of delivering that policy, that teaching and learning strategy, if you like, then how am I actually implementing in terms of action plans? So have I got action plans in place that will allow me to take that forward? And am I communicating those action plans to the people who should know within the institution? So if you've got the policy, do people know about it? We know that embedding sustainability in teaching and learning is often challenging for institutions. So actually, are we training and supporting key players? So is there guidance, training and support there? Once again, fairly standard stuff that you would expect most institutions to be engaging with. But then across the framework, it gets slightly more stretching, if you like. So in terms of developing those policies and strategies, did you engage with the relevant stakeholders, both within the organisation, but also with outside the organisation? So actually, if you teach a particular course, are you engaging with the sector that is relevant to that course? Are there any particularly business partners you'd want to engage with? Also, in terms of implementation, teaching and learning is a classic here. So are we actually embedding sustainability into the systems and processes of how we develop curricula? So it's not just implementation in terms of have we got any courses that mention sustainability, it's actually how are they embedded in the process by which we select courses, update courses, develop new courses. Once again, slightly more stretching. In the final two cells in this framework, it gets even more challenging. Firstly, how are we actually measuring the impact and benefit of ESD or sustainability in the curricula? We know we can do activity, but do we know that the impacts and the benefits are actually manifesting themselves? Once again, many institutions are not doing this because it is challenging. However, the frameworks are stretching us here. We're asking critical questions. And then lastly, how are we linking sustainability in the curriculum to the whole institution? Are we breaking down the barriers between courses? Are we breaking down the barriers between the curriculum and the campus? Can we see joined up activity? So using this framework, we can ask ourselves a number of critical questions that will allow us to shape and inform our development. They will also allow us to do a gap analysis across what we're already doing. And as I mentioned earlier, because we're not looking for a linear approach, you can see that you might be doing activity in one particular cell area, but you're actually missing activity in another, so you can actually fill that gap, so to speak. The frameworks cover all of the priority areas and the activities within there. All the frameworks are these 8 cells, except one, and that's a procurement framework, because we've adopted the flexible framework, which is a well-developed tool that we intended to use. The frameworks are actually unique, and as I mentioned earlier, throughout all of this, they've been developed by the sector for the sector. And we're finding them a really useful tool, not only for the institution, but also to engage in a shared dialogue around the activities we should be undertaking.